Trying to understand the item system for the first time can be daunting, especially to those new to MOBAs. Learning about what every item does and when to build it is one of the harder learning curves when starting out in Deadlock. In this video, I'm going to be ranking all the items based on the current meta, when to build these items, and what heroes are good at using them. Hey guys, Gene here. This video is more of a ranking tier list and a brief itemization guide. Let me know if you want me to do a more comprehensive guide for itemization. This game is still in alpha, so a lot of things about the game are subject to change. I'll make sure to update this when the game fully releases. There are some rumors that Valve are planning on reworking the entire item system, so I want to get this video out there before that happens, if it happens at all. Before we get into the list, let me explain what each category means and what criteria I use to rank all the items. The main criteria is balance. Broken and overpowered items are rated higher than undertuned and understated items. Bugged items are rated lower than fully functional items, unless the bug helps the item out. The second criteria is popularity. Items that are built a lot and are built on many heroes are rated higher than items that aren't built as much or are only built on 1 or 2 heroes. The third criteria is how situational the item is. Items that are situational, but the situations that justifies building them are likely to occur, like building anti-heal, are rated higher than situational items whose situation to justify building it doesn't come up as often, like knockdown. S tier is reserved for items that are game breaking. They are overstated items that are widely popular among multiple heroes and builds. A tier is for items that are slightly overtuned or balanced but quite popular. B tier are for perfectly balanced items. C tier is for understated, niche, or situational items. D tier for nearly unclickable, extremely understated, or buggy items. With that out of the way, let's get into the tier list. Basic magazine is B tier, I'd say. You buy this item with heroes who have medium or large clip sizes and want more ammo. Heroes like Wraith and Infernus use this well. Close quarters is B tier as well. Its stats are pretty mid compared to other tier ones. Good in heroes like Abrams, Calico, and Shiv. Headshot booster low A tier. One of the better tier 1 items to boost damage early game. The effect falls off later into the game. High velocity mag A tier. It's a great item for securing souls early, and it helps out low bullet velocity heroes like Warden and Kelvin. Hollow Point Ward high A tier. It has great stats, the highest weapon damage in the game for a tier 1. It's good in gun and spirit builds. Every hero can buy this and not feel bad about it. Monster Rounds is B tier. Useful when you're getting bodied in lane and need to clear waves quickly to preserve Guardian HP. It's good on weak laners who want to clear waves faster or farm the jungle easier like 7. It's also good on heroes who like destroying Guardians fast in lane, like Mo and Krill and McGinnis. Rapid Rounds A tier. It's built in most gun builds and heroes who benefit from fire rate. It's good on Infernus because fire rate helps apply afterburn faster to targets. Restorative Shot A tier. If you can constantly proc the passive, is one of the better regen options early game. 100 bullet shield is a lot early. It's also a great way to get a regen item without sacrificing a vitality slot for it. It's good on heroes that can proc it easily and win a brawl like Shiv, Abrams, Calico, Pocket, and Geist. Active Reload low C tier. Great stats, but quite niche right now as pure gun carries aren't meta at the moment. Quicksilver Reload is generally a better option for ammo. Berserker low A tier. Amazing on brawler type heroes who can sustain themselves like Abrams, Calico, Shiv, and Geist. If you can take 1200 damage in a teamfight and sustain yourself, you get plus 50% weapon damage for just 1250 souls, which is insane. Later into the game, it's easier to maintain Berserker stacks because your HP pool will be higher. Fleetfoot A tier. Its base stats are pretty bad, but people buy it for the passive. Every hero shoots a lot, not having the movement penalty helps you chase people down while blasted. The plus 3 move speed and 30% ammo helps chase people down as well. It's also the cheapest item to heavy melee cancel with. Kinetic Dash low A tier. Decent stats, great passive. Good on heroes with low base ammo and can use fire rate like Geist and Holiday, but can still be useful for just its fire rate buff. Its passive basically gives you an extra stamina without buying any green items. Useful for pursuing or running away from opponents, or to move around the map faster. Long range high tier, 20% weapon damage, 140 bullet shield, and 20% reload time are good base stats for a 1250 item. The plus 30% weapon damage is a lot considering how easy it is to proc, Don't be fooled, 15 meters in this game is not long range by any stretch of the word. The item is good in any gun hero that doesn't need to kiss their enemy to deal damage. Melee charge high B tier. The passive gives a ton of melee damage and ammo. You almost never need to reload in a fight with it. Also useful for extending the length of heavy melee cancel. It's good on heroes who can secure a heavy melee of CC like Abrams or Sinclair, or one of their abilities function as a heavy melee like Viscous. Mystic Shot high A tier. A staple for any spirit builds because of its spirit power and spirit scaling passive. Decent base stats. Getting 4 spirit on a weapon slot is nice for spirit builds. One of the highest damaging tier 2 items you can buy in lane. Slowing bullets low C tier, its base stats are pretty good and the effect is impactful, but the problem with the item is that it's hard to find space to slot it in your build. If you have extra slots, it's not bad to buy it and then sell it later for something else. The item is also bugged. Slowing bullets does not slow people that are at or below their base speed. Soul Shredder bullets A tier, it's core on many spirit builds and spirit builds who care about lifesteal. The debuff only affects each player's own spirit damage. Teammates cannot benefit from the debuff. The debuff can be applied with melee attacks as well as abilities that are considered melee attacks. Swift Striker low B tier, decent base stats, built on heroes who scale well with fire rate like Wraith and Haze. What's holding the item back is that pure gun builds aren't meta at the moment, and the item is overshadowed by burst fire. Enduring Spirit A tier, great stats for tier 1, good in heroes that care about spirit power and lifesteal like Infernus. Builds into Slowing Hex which is another good item. Extra health A tier, 160 health makes you noticeably more tanky early game and can be the difference between dying and living in the laning phase. Builds with the Fortitude which is an amazing item. Extra regen B tier, useful for when you need regen but can't hide from cover. Often overshadowed by Healing Right and Restorative Shot, they have better stats. Almost no one cares about plus 10% ammo. Extra stamina low S tier, you see everyone picking up this item right now. With the 3-lane map, everyone's base move and sprint speed has gone up a lot, making sprint boots, its competitor, a lot less desirable. Very good in heroes with 2 stamina. Builds in superior stamina which is another goated item. Healing Right high A tier, it's the most popular regen item. The plus 3 spirit power is nice in a lot of builds. It's the fastest way to heal up in lane and it's often enough sustain early to get you through the early game without constantly basing until you get enough lifesteal or fortitude. Being able to write allies is also a bonus. Melee lifesteal A tier, it has great stats in its core and 80 build that uses melees. This is the best regen item if you can constantly proc it, but it can be hard to proc at times. It's good on heroes like Abrams and Sinclair who benefit from melee builds. It also procs in abilities that function as a melee like Calico's 2, Viscous 3, and Bebop's 1, making it a core item on those heroes. Sprint Boots C tier, good stats but it's outshadowed by extra stamina. The abundance of base move and sprint speed on every hero makes it less desirable. It's still good in Mo because Burrow has a long cast animation where he can't dash, but can benefit from move and sprint speed. Bullet Armor C tier, outshadowed by barriers early game and pure gun carries aren't that popular right now. Armors do scale better than barriers later into the game, but there's a lot of shred present in the meta right now, making armors less valuable. Bullet Lifesteal C tier, niche item. This is built on pure gun carries for early game sustain, but pure gun carries aren't that valuable right now. Combat Barrier high S tier. Right now lane matters and barriers are the best early game. Not only is one of the best defensive items for 1250, it also gives you a lot of damage. Its downside is that you lose the effect when your barrier is down, but it's not hard to conserve your barrier in lane if you don't take poke for free. Debuff Reducer A tier. There's a lot of CC and debuffs in the game, so you're buying this item almost every game. Allows you to parry Abrams melee after shoulder charge if he doesn't have ability duration. Divine Barrier S tier. It shuts down a lot of kill pressure in lane. Often saves you or an ally from dying early, making it a high impact item. Good against heroes with predictable burst combos like Bebop and Lash. Enchanter's Barrier high S tier. Same reasoning as Combat Barrier, but a bit better because we're in a spirit leaning meta. Not only is it one of the best items to buff your spirit damage, it's also the best item to protect against spirit damage early game. Enduring Speed low C tier, only really built on Mo and Crow because of Burrow, and sometimes on Calico to buff Ava's move speed. Stamina items are better on most heroes. Everyone already has high base sprint and move speed, making sprint boots less good. This item has a hidden 30% dash distance reduction, along with its slow resist making it an option against slowing Hex. Healbane High A tier. Anti-heal is important when needed, and Healbane gives you cheap AoE anti-heal that also heals you for 350 on kill or assist, making it a good sustain option when you have a lot of kill participation. Healing Booster B tier. Good item early game, but it's somewhat niche, only picked up by heroes with a lot of base healing like Mo and Krill, Abrams, and Kelvin. It falls off later into the game when the enemy has multiple sources of anti-heal, hopefully. Healing Nova C tier. The item has amazing base stats and a good effect, but it's only picked up by hard supports, and you rarely see people playing a pure support build in pubs or comp. The item isn't bad on paper, but is held back by its low popularity. Raw healing is less valuable when everyone has sustained from Fortitude. Reactive Barrier D tier. Divine Barrier is better in almost every way. Reactive Barrier has more bullet shield than Divine Barrier, but it can't be used proactively, hence the name. It doesn't even proc on knockups. It's best used against early hard CC like Bebop Hook or Abrams Charge, but there are better options out there for defensive 1250s. Restorative Locket High A tier. Great sustain item against heroes with low cooldowns and charge abilities like Grey Talon and Mirage. In terms of defensiveness, it's better than Divine Barrier until enemies build anti-heal, then Divine Barrier tends to be better. The item was really OP when it had 10 spirit resistance, but has fallen off a bit after the nerf. Return Fire D tier. The item exists to counter pure gun carries like Viper and Haze, but they aren't meta right now. It's really being built. Spare Armor B tier. Outshadowed by barriers early, but armors tend to be better than barriers later into the game. We're in a spirit leaning meta, so that bumps the item up a bit. Spirit Lifesteal Low B tier. Good on heroes that deal a lot of sustained spirit damage like 7 and Infernus. Of the early lifesteal options like Infuser, Enduring Spirit, and Soul Shredder bullets, Spirit Lifesteal is usually the worst one. Keep in mind that different sources of lifesteal stack multiplicatively, and have diminishing returns with each other. Ammo Scavenger C tier. Understated item. This item has been nerfed multiple times, and it's worse in a new map because every lane is a dual lane, meaning you can't secure every orb by yourself. It's outclassed by other early spirit damage items like Extra Spirit, Infuser, and Mystic Burst. If the item was good, you'd build this on heroes with low clip sizes and want spirit damage early like Mirage, Shiv, Abrams, and Pocket. Extra Charge A tier. Great item on heroes who care about using their charge abilities more often. Extra Spirit A tier. A good consistent source of Sera power early game. Its regen and health are nice for surviving the laning phase. Infuser Low S tier. One of the best tier 1 items early for damage and sustain. It makes early damaging abilities like 7 in Pocket's kit, Kelvin's Beam, and Infernus Burn plus Dash deal an absurd amount of damage, and heal a surprising amount in lane. I would rate this item higher, but I got a decent nerf recently. Mystic Burst Low A tier. Good on heroes that have a burst ability that meets the damage threshold early game. Mystic Reach B tier. Good on heroes that have a need for range like Bebop, Paradox, and Dynamo. Spirit Strike High A tier. This item has insane stats for a tier 1, its early effect is amazing, the only tier 1 item that has Shred. It's a core item on any melee build or close range heroes that can weave in light melees like Pocket and Mo and Krill. Bullet Resist Shredder A tier. If you can slot it in your build, buying Shred is never bad. Increasing not only your bullet damage, but your team's bullet damage will always be good. Codefront B tier. This item would be S tier when everyone was buying it when it did 2 times damage to creeps, but it's a lot more balanced after the nerf. Its Spirit Resist is good early and is good on spirit characters that like to fight close like Abrams, Pocket, Lash, Yamato, and Infernus. Decay High A tier. This item has amazing stats for spirit users for its cost and does decent single target damage. It's the best early anti-heal option for single targets, particularly good when built in lane against high health and sustained heroes like Abrams and Mo and Crow. Its cast range also increases with spirit. Duration Extender B tier. It has good stats, good on heroes who want more ability duration like Infernus, Shiv, and Dynamo. Improved cooldown Low A tier. Buy this if you want cooldown, a staple in many spirit builds. Mystic Vulnerability A tier. Same reasons as Bullet Resist Shredder. Rated slightly higher than it because we're in a spirit leaning meta. Quicksilver Reload A tier. Good on auto attackers that benefit from increased ammo and fire rate like Infernus and Mirage. or heroes with abilities with healing that scales with damage dealt, like Laster's Flog or Mo and Krill's Scorn. Slowing Hex high A tier, good base stats, there are a lot of slippery heroes in Deadlock. Being able to silence their movement abilities and slow their movement speed and dash distance is incredibly useful for killing hyper-mobile targets quickly. This would be an S tier item if it was cheaper. Suppressor low B tier, it's good against high fire rate heroes like Wraith and Haze, built situationally on heroes with high uptime on their spirit damage like Infernus and 7. It's usually built on support heroes, but they aren't really being played much at the moment. Withering Whip B tier, its shred makes it good in gun builds, and its unusually high fire rate slow allows you to take 1v1 fights much easier. Before I continue, if you like my content, consider subscribing and check out my other stuff. Leave any questions or concerns in the comments, I do read all of them, and if you have any suggestions for future videos, let me know as well. Alchemical Fire A tier, it has good base stats and good damage and zone control. Boosting you and your team's weapon damage will never be bad. It's good in heroes who can lock people in it like Vindicta, Paradox, Kelvin, and Mo and Krill. Burst Fire A tier, this item is core in most gun builds. Its large fire rate along with move speed and slide distance boost increases weapon DPS by a large amount, and makes firing your gun feel less sluggish. Escalating Resistance high C tier, this is a great item in high fire rate heroes against comps with a lot of gun damage. Getting 40% bullet resistance nearly instantly for just 3k is really good. However, the meta right now leans towards spirit and hybrid damage, so the item is rarely built. Headhunter low B tier, this is like the most mid 3k weapon item you can buy. It's good earlier into the game where flat headshot bonus is higher, but it falls off late game. It's a win hard item, you buy this when you're ahead and win a fight. It's particularly good on Shiv because any extra sources of damage stacks rage faster, and his shotgun makes headshotting people easier when it's off cooldown. Heroic Aura C tier, this item is good in beginners because it buffs her turrets and she uses fire rate well. It's great for split pushing, but split pushing is harder in the current 3-lane map compared to the old 4-lane one. It's bought on Ivy and McGinnis to boost their team-wide fire rate buffs. Hunter's Aura B tier, good in melee and close range heroes like Abrams, Calico, and Shiv. Against isolated targets, you reduce bullet resistance by 25% and fire rate by 30%, making your gun in melees deal way more damage. Intensifying Magazine B tier, good in heroes with large clip sizes like Bebop. Point Blank high B tier, good in close range heroes like Abrams, Shiv, and Calico. It's a large increase in weapon damage with decent defensive stats. The slow helps chase people down and stay in range for the passive. Pristine Emblem A tier, this item gives you a lot of stats. 39% weapon damage, 12 spirit, and 12 spirit resist are great. Its passive is better than usual against barriers because the effect procs on shields, but shields still contribute to your max health. You see people pick up a lot of barriers in the current meta. Sharpshooter low C tier, this is a situational / luxury item. It's rarely built right now, but if it was better it would be built on heroes that want more gun damage and play at long ranges like Grey Talon, Vindicta, and Paradox. Spellslinger Headshot D tier, when it was bugged it was good on characters who benefited from a lifesteal and damage up like Infernus and Yamato. The passive used to double dip of Soul Shredder bullets, giving you base 36% lifesteal and 16% spirit damage amp without the passive, but now that's gone. Its lifesteal now properly diminishes in stacking with other sources of lifesteal, making it even worse. Tesla Bullet C tier, it's a good item for farming for auto-attacking heroes. Over focusing on farming jungle camps doesn't win you games right now. Having a good early mid-game matters. Titanic Magazine low D tier, if you need ammo you buy Quicksilver Reload, or Active Reload, or Fleetfoot, or save your stamina for shooting while sliding. 120% more ammo for 3500 souls is overkill. Toxic Bullets A tier, good item on mid-range auto-attackers and are good buys in Mirage and Infernus because of how synergistic it is with their passives. The max HP damage is amazing into high health heroes like Abrams and Mo and Krill. Warpstone A tier, it's a good item for heroes that lack mobility, or for any hero that wants mobility really. It gets shut down by Slowing Hex, which can be annoying. Debuff Remover S tier, there are so many debuffs and CC in this game that are hard to deal with, and Debuff Remover helps with that. If this item is ever bad or gets significantly nerfed, then late game teamfights would just be unfun to play in. Notable uses of this item include Cleansing Affliction, Vindicta's Stake, 7's Stun, and Bebop's Bombs. Fortitude S tier, built on almost every hero in the game, great base stats, and being able to stay on the map without basing allows you to be more impactful more often on the map and in teamfights. Even on pure spirit characters, the item is still decent for its HP, move speed, and health regen. It's not that good on Shiv because bloodletting makes you take constant deferred damage, and you need to not take damage for 10 seconds for Fortitude to proc. Improved bullet armor C tier, barriers generally outshine armors until late game, and even then there are many ways to get shredded in this game, so you often find yourself dying quickly with it. Pure gun carries are not being played right now, and if they are, metal skin is a better answer to high bullet damage. Improved spirit armor B tier for similar reasons to improved bullet armor, but there is more spirit damage than bullet damage in this meta, so it's a bit more desirable with an item. It gets outclassed by Ethereal Shift usually. Lifestrike C tier, melee lifesteal does like 70% of what this item does for a fraction of the price. Majestic Leap B tier, good base stats, it's a core item on Pocket, good on heroes that want mobility but lack it in their kit. Metal Skin A tier, best item in the game to survive against gun damage, and it's still useful against auto attackers that can do spirit damage like Infernus, Mirage, and 7. Rescue Beam High C tier, great item for hard supports. You find this item being built on Viscous, Kelvin, Ivy, McGinnis, and more. One of the higher value items when you're behind. Hard support is not a popular playstyle, so I can't see rating this item highly. Superior Stamina High S tier, it's currently the best and most popular movement option for its price. It's an insane item on heroes that are already mobile like Glash and Pocket, and low mobile characters like Shiv and Geist. If you have good movement, the added dashes and dash recovery gives you so much mobility and slipperiness in fights, and makes moving around the map faster. Arcane Surge Low D tier, extremely bait and buggy item. For some reason it just doesn't work on most abilities in the game, and when it does, inputting anything that's not WASD will cancel the buff. It also falsely increases your active item range, but if you try to cast any items with the buff, it will not work. The only use case I've seen is for extending the range of Dynamo's knockup and ult. Ethereal Shift High S tier, easily the best item in the game. You can iframe any damage threat or CC for 3.5 seconds. If you get focused in a teamfight, you can use this item to buy time and stall out the fight, giving your team time to help you or counter attack. This item pretty much turns off Lash's kit, which is why he's not as good in higher elos and coordinated play. Not only are you immune for damage or CC for 3.5 seconds, you gain insane stats for some reason. Plus 20 spirit and plus 40 spirit resistance, and plus 3 boost speed for 5 seconds is an insane amount of stats for a 3k item. Valve could remove all the passive stats from the item and reduce the iframes from 3.5 seconds to 2.5 seconds, and the item would still be picked up a lot. Improved Reach B tier, somewhat niche, but plenty of heroes want increased ability range after their core items are completed. Notable examples are Dynamo's ult, Bebop's bombs, and Warden's ult. Improved Spirit A tier, core item on any spirit hero that has good spirit scaling. Knockdown B tier, it's situational but a solid mid-game counter item. It's strong against heroes with flying abilities such as Vindicta and Grey Talon, and channel abilities such as 7's ult, Ivy's ult, Bebop ult, and Haze ult. It's also decent against Lash and Holiday because they both spend a lot of time in the air and have channeled ultimates. It falls off when people start buying E-Shift, Debuff Remover, and Unstoppable. Mystic Slow B tier, it's a situational item, but when the situation calls for it, it's decent. You usually see this item picked up later into the game on support heroes like Ivy and McGinnis, and it's sometimes picked up in heroes you want to chase and have long uptime on their spirit damage like 7 and Warden. This item is quite good in Spirit Vindicta builds that focus on debuffs with Crow. Rapid Recharge B tier, good on characters who rely on or want to spam their charge abilities like Grey Talon, Kelvin, and Stomp Dynamo. Silence Glyph C tier, terrible stats, it's the only active in the game that you can miss for some reason. It does a lot of damage and is really good in the caster type heroes like Pocket, Lash, and Yamato, but it doesn't interrupt channeled abilities and can be removed by debuff remover, so the item is just extremely niche. It's usually better to just wait and save up for Curse if you need to disable someone's abilities. It's better in characters who can confirm the silence with CC like Bebop or Abrams. Spirit Snatch A tier, this item gives you an insane amount of stats if you can hit multiple people with it, and it's not that hard to proc multiple times in a teamfight because it works on abilities that function like melee attacks like Calico's 2 and Viscous 3, and the buff lasts 16 seconds with a 6-second cooldown, which can be increased with duration or decreased with cooldown respectively. Good and melee heroes that can benefit from extra spirit resist and spirit power like Abrams, Calico, and Viscous. Superior cooldown B tier, great item when you need cooldown reduction. Don't forget that cooldown reduction works in items. Superior duration B tier, good item when you want certain abilities to last longer. Usually bot that makes CC and debuffs last longer like Dynamo's Black Hole, Mo and Krill's ult, and Vindicta's Stake and Crow. People often forget that duration works in items. Surge of Power A tier, good for amping up your main damaging ability and chasing people with the move speed bonus. Also gives the Fleet Foot effect when activated. It's particularly good in spirit heroes that also auto attack a lot. They can benefit from the fire rate and Fleet Foot effect like Great Talon, Mirage, and Seven. Torment Pulse High A tier, good base stats. This is one of the best 3k power spikes for melee and close range heroes. Core and Spirit Abrams and Yamato, good in Mo and Krill, Calico, Viscous, and Melee Shiv. Make sure to buy spirit items to complement it, as its passive damage scales with spirit power. Crippling Headshot S tier, good at nearly every hero regardless of build, one of the best 6k gun items for damage, and it's often the first 6k gun item you get in builds. It's a solid damage item that also helps increase your team's damage. Resist can go negative, so buying this if your team doesn't have multiple cripplings is never bad. Its lifesteal is also underrated for sustain options late game. Frenzy Low A tier, expensive, but gives an insane amount of stats to Bruiser characters who want more weapon DPS. Buying Frenzy buffs Berserker's base weapon damage per stack. If your health goes above 50%, you don't immediately lose the buff. You maintain it for 5 seconds. Great on Gun Abrams, Gun Calico, Gun Shiv, and Lady Geist. Glass Cannon Low D tier, terrible item for its cost. Other 6k items give similar amounts of damage to either have utility, or don't give you potential negative effects for using the item. Lucky Shot A tier, usually the best 6k item to increase weapon damage when the enemy has low resists. Good on high fire rate heroes like Wraith, Haze, and Calico. Ricochet High C tier, niche item, only built super late game on certain characters that can benefit from it, like Mirage, Infernus, and Haze. It turns your single target on-hit passives into AoE, which can be useful in late game teamfights. The item can also be used to AoE spread debuffs like Crippling Headshot, Silencer, Soul Shredder bullets, Bullet Resist Shredder, and Mystic Vulnerability. Shadow Weave C tier, extremely niche item. Right now the best use case is buying on Spirit Viper because her Venom is ridiculous spirit scaling, and it enables her assassin playstyle, but it can be bought on Bebop for sneaky hooks, or in Lash to make the ult harder to react to. The item used to be insane on Spirit Wraith in the past, but her cards got nerfed, and the detection radius got increased from 22 meters to 26 meters. Silencer B tier, situational item, good against multiple spirit damage dealers, and it's the only item in the game outside of Debuff Reducer and Debuff Remover that has debuff resist, making it a strong option against heavy CC comps in conjunction with those items. Spiritual Overflow High B tier, the item is a good stat stick for characters who want spirit power and fire rate like Great Talon, Seven, Infernus, and Mirage. It's usually not your first 6k, but it can be on certain heroes. Vampiric Burst Low C tier, this is a luxury item for close range gun characters like Gun Calico, Abrams, Ivy, and Viper. It's never a core item. Usually buy this item when you're comically ahead, or the game is going super late and don't know what to build. The 60% bullet damage returned from return fire benefits from Vampiric Burst's lifesteal, making it so you can heal off the bullet damage that you're reflecting. It can also be used to heavy melee cancel. Colossus Low A tier, amazing base stats. The combination of 40% resist, along with the highest base health increase in the game, makes it the best item in the game if you want to be super tanky. Built on close range heroes that want to be tanky like Abrams, Calico, and Mo and Krill. Amazing item for any melee builds that use all of its stats really well. Can also be used to heavy melee cancel. Inhibitor High A tier, underrated item. The item is amazing, especially when you're behind or not the main character. It gives you a lot of utility in tankiness due to the base HP gain, the outgoing damage reduction, and the move speed slow. Leech B tier, very expensive, but it's a core item on Shiv and Geist because of how their kits play out, and it's a late game luxury item for a lot of other heroes. This item turns you into an unkillable demon if you can get it earlier into the game, and there isn't much anti-heal. but it gets countered when people apply multiple forms of anti-heal on you. Phantom Strike low A tier, great item for heroes that need an engage option to confirm some sort of CC like Mo and Krill's ult or Abram's charge. Good against flyers like Vindicta and Talon to get them out of the air. The disarmored slow is useful for disabling weapon-reliant heroes. Siphon Bullets B tier, usually bought on late game gun carries who want more survivability. It's a good buy when fights are lasting long, and it's good against tanky heroes because the passive deals consistent true damage. Built on heroes like Mirage, Wraith, and Gun Ivy. Unstoppable low A tier, this item is required late game on certain heroes with impactful ults like Haze, Seven, and Lash. Without it, your ult will most likely get CC'd or interrupted. Otherwise, it's still a good item late game against high CC team comps, and it's usually more effective on heroes that like to dive the enemy team because they're more exposed to the enemy CC abilities than someone who is playing safe in the backline. It's a good option against Dynamo ult. Note that you're not immune to anti-heal or damage debuffs like Silencer or Inhibitor during Unstoppable. Veilwalker high C tier, this item is a bit understated for its price. This item complements barriers well, and people will pick up a lot of barriers, yet no one buys this item so I can't rate it too highly. It's actually an underrated item on Holiday and Paradox because they both use barriers, and can use the extra move speed and invis to pick people easier, and be tanky while doing it. Demo from Vitreous Pro likes buying it on those heroes. Boundless Spirit B tier, solid late game damage option for a lot of spirit builds. It has some extra value of being slot efficient when you're lacking flex slots, as you're upgrading extra spirit into improved spirit, into Boundless Spirit, versus needing another spirit slot to buy another 6k spirit item like Mystic Reaver or Diviner's Kevlar. Curse A tier, this item is underrated and underbought. Being able to remove someone from the game for plus 3 seconds is amazing for disabling and locking down important targets in teamfights. Good against caster heroes with annoying abilities like Pocket and Yamato, and is good to interrupt impactful ultimates like Dynamo ult and 7 ult. This item can be bought on burst assassins like Pocket, who can quickly kill targets. Cursing them prevents them from running away from you, or using defensive items like Ethereal Shift, making it almost impossible to escape your damage. It's also a good pickup on characters who have their core build finished, but don't need to build more damage. These are often initiators like Paradox, Bebop, and Holiday, who specialize in disabling and picking off single targets, and Curse helps them with that. Diviner's Kevlar B tier, good item on spirit heroes who want extra damage and taking this after ulting like Mo and Krill, Lash, and Infernus. As a core item on Pocket, this item is pretty good in Sinclair if you have a lot of good ults to steal, because he gains half the copied ult cooldown, making you proc Diviner's Kevlar more often than other heroes. Echo Shard A tier, this item enables a lot of builds and makes them annoying to play against. Things like Bebop's Bomb, Sinclair's Hex, and Vindicta's Stake become quite unfun for the enemy team. This is one of the few 6k items that is rushed early mid-game on certain heroes because it's a huge power spike on them, like Bebop and Sinclair. Escalating Exposure low D tier, understated item. Any other 6k spear item does more damage. This item is best used in knife shift builds, but even then they aren't buying it. That's how you know the item is unclickable. Magic Carpet B tier, niche item, but has a lot of good stats for some spirit users, and it's the best item in the game for long range mobility. The item is pretty good in Mo and Krill because he can use it to combo anyone he wants in a team fight, and he benefits from the extra spirit, ability duration, range, health, and shields. It's also good in Viscous because he also uses all of its stats well, and it allows you to reposition yourself during Goo Ball when the ability is maxed. Mystic Reverb low A tier, core item in Yamato. This item is built on heroes who have abilities of high base damage like Lash's Slam, Bebop's Bomb, and Yamato's Slash because the passive is a 50% damage multiplier to the target and an AoE around it. Refresher low A tier, good on heroes with impactful ults like Dynamo ult, Yamato ult, and Lash's ult. Here's my finalized tier list for the current patch. Items get changed almost every patch, so I imagine this video will get updated soon. If you disagree with where I rank certain items, let me know down in the comments. I linked the tier list maker in the description. Use that to show me what you think the items should go. If you want to watch me live, I stream most days around 4 PM EST on Twitch and YouTube. Join my Discord if you want to ask any questions. I'm currently grinding for Face It, so videos will be a bit later than usual, but yeah, I'll see you guys later.